Hi, Caitlin. I wanted to leave you some feedback on SA2. Um, Fantastic work on this paper. Uh, I think that this is the strongest version of this SA2, meaning define education, that I think that I've ever received. Um, Excellent work on that. This, you have a clear definition. You have expertly woven the personal experience with the sources. Um, I so that seems like an easy thing to do, but what often happens, what I see with this paper, is I see paragraphs working um, quite well on the individual level, but they don't quite work together. Um, the way paragraphs in an essay should, meaning that each paragraph is linked to the next. But I feel like that's what's going on in your paper, right? So I can really see how your thoughts here are leading into Gatto, and Gatto is leaning into you analyzing your personal experience. Uh, it's good. It's working. It's working quite well. I'm also impressed with not only the signal phrasing that you did with your sources, but I also feel like you're not cherry picking evidence. So usually the conversation that I have to have with students is you're cherry picking evidence as opposed to capturing the objectively the main idea first and then bringing in the evidence that you want to discuss. I don't see that going on in this paper. Um, and I really I think my favorite part actually is this paragraph where you're talking about photography. I'm happy to hear this, even though it sounds like this is what maybe occurred. Yeah, you said that this was in high school. Um, I think that one of the things that you're capturing here is really the purpose behind general education, right? A lot of students don't like general education because they feel like it's a waste of money and they're not going to be able to use it in their future career. And in terms of that money critique, I absolutely agree. It is expensive, but I also think that higher education, or not higher education, well, yes, higher education, but what I mean specifically in this moment is general education is something that's really important, because it really allows the student to grow in a way that isn't necessarily measurable. And I would almost argue that that's more important than those hard skills, right? Or at least as important. So I really liked that, you kind of said, well, my motivation for taking this class wasn't perhaps fully pure, but you ended up finding a lot of value in it, and it really changed the way that you viewed the world. I love this because I can remember that exact same experience that I had in college taking my drawing course. I am not very I am strong visually, but in terms of drawing, I have never been really strong, not as strong as I could be. But I still took this drawing course, and quite honestly, I struggled with it through the majority of the semester. Although I could see that I was getting better, but then after the semester was over, I remember looking around at. I was on a walk, and I was just looking around at the buildings, and I suddenly realized that I understood perspective, right? I understood it, how objects related to each other in space. And it kind of allowed me to take that general idea and really think about how people are all connected, or how important it is to think about not just ourselves as the individual, but how we relate to one another, and how we build community. And so that, drawing and that idea are seemingly unrelated things, but I was able to kind of use perspective as a way to kind of build my own personal philosophy. And it kind of sounds like the same thing is going on here, and I would love to see the Quarantine Chronicles. This sounds awesome. So I just wanted to talk about that because it was one of those like, yay for you, Caitlin moments when I read this paper. Um, so excellent work here. The only thing that I would offer for revision is the jump here, that we're talking about American education to education in Finland was a little bit of a leap. So if you could more gradually ease the reader into that idea, perhaps it's that, while American education tends to focus on this, that isn't the case for other countries around the world. And in fact, you're giving the example of Finland. I think that might be a way to to make that transition, ease that transition for the reader. But again, this is an excellent paper, and I really, really enjoyed reading your thoughts and insights here. Thanks.